All right, so these are your chapter 2-2 notes on solving one-step equations. So your first video on solving equations. So we'll do and these are going to be the easier ones, the one step. We'll work our way to more difficult ones. Make sure you put your page number up here. Put this into your table of contents with the correct page number. Before we begin, we're going to look at what's called a solution. Highlight that. A solution might be heard as called solving the equation. Or I like to call it the value of the variable that makes the number sentence true. To do this, we're going to do and use what's called the addition property of equality, another property. And I'm going to highlight that. I kind of like to think of the addition property of equality as a seesaw or a teeter-totter. Let's say you have, I don't know, a 75-pound kid on one side, and then you have like a 70-pound kid and their 5-pound cat. Right now, the balance is balanced because equal weights on both sides. But as soon as your 5-pound cat jumps off on this side, it becomes lighter over here. This side becomes heavier, and we've got undistributed weight. So in order to keep things balanced, if this 5-pound cat ran away, I can't come back, we have to change something to the left side. So this guy's going to have to, go on a diet and lose 5 pounds. So I have to take 5 pounds away in order to keep things balanced. So the property of equality says if you subtract 5 from one side, you must subtract 5 from the other to keep things balanced. And this goes with the addition property, subtraction property, all the properties really. If you add, or I'm going to say what you do to one side, you must do to the other. So I might even put up here next to the addition property of equality, we can also put in parentheses, this goes for the subtraction property as well. What you do to one side, if you add something to one side, you have to add it to the other. Keep it balanced. Keep the weight the same on both sides. So for example, if we were to look at an equation here, let's say I have g minus 25 equals 113, okay? Both sides have the same value. Both sides should equal 113. It's just that g is hiding some of it. So what we're going to do is we're going to undo what's happening to g and follow the property of equality to do that. So, I mean, if we've subtracted 25 from g, in order to get rid of that, to find out what g is, we have to add 25. But if I add 25 pounds to this side, I've got to add 25 pounds to this side. And I'm going to draw a line here to show this is what's left behind. So I get g is equal to whatever 113 plus 25 is, which is 138. And then I'm going to box this off to show this is my solution. G is 138. And then over here, what we're going to do is we're going to check this. We're going to check both sides to the story. If G is 138, and this is why we did our whole evaluating expressions, do we get the same number on both sides? So I'm going to check 138 minus 25. Does that give me 113? So I'm going to check this. 138 minus 120 or 1 minus 25, yes, is 138. Check. And the right hand side already had 113 on it, so we're good there. Both sides, oh my gosh. My goodness. Let me erase that. Ignore what I just said. 138 minus 25 is 113. Both sides have the same amount. Both sides have the same weight. So we found our solution to be 138. All right, let's try this one. So if I did C minus 22 equals 54. Both sides have 54. In order to see what C is, we have to undo this minus 22. So to undo that, we do the opposite. Let's add 22. What if I add 22 to the left side of my equal sign? Let's add 22 over here. So I get C equals 76. So I have one solution at 76. And when I do my check, we'll check both sides. 76 minus 22 on the left side happens to be 54, which is good. And then the right side also had 54, which is what we wanted. Okay, let's try 27 plus k equals 30. All right, so here's my variable. Looks like I've added 27 to it. Well, in order to get rid of adding 27, we have to take 27 away. So it leaves me with k equals 30 minus 27, 3. I'm going to box that off. And then, of course, we're going to double check our work, both sides to the equal sign. 27 plus 3 is 30. And then the other side was 30 as well. Let's try negative 12 equals p plus 16. Okay, so here's my variable. Looks like we've added 16 to it, so I have to undo that. Let's subtract 16. Subtract 16. That gives me negative 28 equals b. I'm going to box that off as my solution, and we're going to check both sides. Well, negative 12, that was already negative 12, so we're done there. But p is negative 28, so I'll put negative 28 plus 16. What does that give me? Oh, it gives me negative 12, which is what I wanted. Okay, so there's the addition and subtraction property in use. The multiplication and division property, very similar. So we'll highlight that. Okay, so to get the variable by itself, you must do the opposite. And then what you do to one side, you must do to the other. So let's say we have a problem 3x equals 15. Okay, I know this is a simple one, but the idea here is the same. So if you, 1, find your variable, and then 2, get rid of what's happening to it. by doing the opposite. All right, so I'm going to grab a color here. Here's my variable. The 3 next to the variable x means to multiply. So if I want to get rid of multiplying by 3, I have to divide by 3. So I'm going to show that, excuse me, by putting that as a fraction. 3 divided by 3 becomes 1. Excuse me. And if I divided this side, the left side, by 3, then I have to divide the right side by 3. And we'll show that with the fraction. So this becomes a 1x, or just x, is equal to whatever 15 divided by 3 is. 15 thirds is actually 5. So I have 1x is 5. And when I go back in to check this, if x is 5, do we get 15? So we're going to check both sides. The 3 times the 5 does give me 15, so that's good there. And then the right side already had 15, so we're good. Everything checks out. We're good to go. If it doesn't check, then we have to go see where we made our mistake. All right, let's try this one. X over 3 equals 15. So again, we're going to find our variable. Oops, right here, found it. Ask yourself what's happening to it. Well, it's divided by 3, so how do you get rid of dividing by 3? Well, you got to multiply. So we're going to multiply this side by 3 and multiply this side by 3. Now, what's fun about this one here is that you have a 3 in the numerator, 3 in the denominator. Your 3's cancel out. 3 divided by 3 gives you 1. So you have 1x left equals 15 times 3, which is 45. And then when you go to do your checks, you have 45 over 3, which is 15, which is what we wanted, and the other side had 15. Both sides are good. All right. Let's try 3 x over 4 equals 6. Okay. Now this is a fun one because you can do this a couple different ways. We'll show you one way. So here's your variable x. X has multiplied by what we call a fraction 3/4. So in order to get rid of fractions, what we do is multiply by what we call the reciprocal, which is really just the flip of the fraction. Because when we look at 3/4 times 4/3, you end up getting 12 over 12, which becomes 1, which is nice. Okay, so if I've got a fraction here, or if x is multiplied by 3/4, we can divide both sides by 3/4, but dividing is the same thing as multiplying by the reciprocal. So we'll just multiply by 4/3. The 4's cancel, the 3's cancel, so I'm left with x equals, oh, but I had to multiply this by 4/3 too. Okay, multiplying straight across, this is really 6 over 1. You have 24 over 3, so x is equal to 8. I'm going to check, so I get 3 times 8 over 4 equals 6. Okay, 6 is already done. 3 times 8 is 24 over 4, which is 6. Both sides are the same. So we're good to go here. And I think that's it for right now.